it's what stops a lot of people from taking action. This is why we're talking about regret. Like that's the fear of like, oh, what's going to go wrong? Like, what if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't? Like, but who cares? At the end of the day, like, you're going to fucking die.
Wait, so who's going to win the bet?
Me, obviously, but
So we're running a half marathon, all three of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm running that. I might be walking it. Because
what's the longest you've ever run?
Recently, yeah.
Recently, yeah. I love that you say yeah. Yeah.
What's the longest you've ever run?
A distance.
A distance?
Has it been over 5Ks?
Look, the longest I've ever run.
One word answer.
One word answer.
No, you've already
would you like a yes or a no or a maybe? I don't know.
It's probably a no.
Why would
what's your longest run?
Like ever? Like, oh fuck.
Mine's
or at least this year, like for training for this.
Mine's like 15K.
the longest run I've done this year is 15K.
Yeah, I did 15K 2 days ago.
No, you didn't.
Sunday.
No, you didn't.
It's on my fucking training plan. Sunday I did 15K in my head. Bro, I did not do 15K in my head.
I actually did. I ran like 14Ks after you did that marathon.
Oh yeah, don't inspire you.
That's
about a quarter of the way I ran.
Did. So he dropped me at the train station, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I think I actually remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Wasn't that day? Was it? It was.
No, it was that day.
It was that day.
No
he was
way.
like, "Fuck it, I'm going from the train station."
I was like, you know what? I'm not going to catch a train. I'm going to run home. So I had this fucking bag on, which was super annoying.
And would you say you didn't want to live with that regret?
Congrats, man! You ran a quarter of what I ran.
Congrats, man! You ran.
But
distance.
That's really good though. That's actually impressive because
it's really good for your mindset.
We had Nando's that day as well.
Nando's is good.
So
should we have Nando's tonight?
But the thing is, if you lose the bet, you'll probably die with regret.
What are you talking about? Losing what bet? I don't lose things.
I don't know. It's
the only thing that
because the thing is, the way I see it, right? The way I see it, this is training versus mindset. No offense, like his mindset is very, very strong, but you've actually been training, so you have more of the body.
So you're telling me if I just did a little bit of training, I'll beat Colby.
You have to have the
but he's been training
to train.
He jogs twice a week anyway, don't you?
That's a low week, yeah.
A low week.
A low week.
Like if I'm jogging twice a week, I'm not very happy with myself.
Well, the thing is, he tried to say he'd beat me, and that's
you
just
know what I actually reckon.
Ridiculous.
I reckon I can actually beat Blake.
Do you know
what? I'm actually.
Let's both beat Blake.
You wouldn't be able to run a 5K in a 5-minute flat.
You know what?
5-minute K.
I've had people telling me I can't do things my whole life, and guess what?
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say you can't run 5Ks in 5 minutes. I was like, neither can you.
Maybe.
You can tell me all you like that I'm not gonna beat you.
You won't. This race, you won't beat me.
Bro, a K a minute. That's 60 kilometers
That's okay.
an hour.
Well, I said 5 minutes per K.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think. Who do I pick? Who do you guys pick? Honestly, yourselves.
I pick Colby. No, in all honesty, I pick Colby based on his training.
I think right now, as we are, like right now, I think me, but I think that Ayrton could and should and maybe will.
He's underestimating. I think he's secretly training without telling us.
Maybe that wouldn't surprise me.
But then again, like we'd notice the difference though. Like if he loses a couple of kilos, we'd notice.
He'd also brag about it.
Yeah, he can't not tell us about it.
He can't.
Boys, I ran 4Ks today. That was my warm up. But he's just he's doing now is he's absorbing all the hate and the negativity, and that's the thing. He takes it.
There is no negativity from me.
No, negativity. But really telling him he can't.
I really want him to challenge me. Like I want to win, but I want to barely win. I want to be at the end. I want to be like
I want my foot on the throat, smashing someone,
puffing and like panting. And I just get ahead of the finish line. And at the end, we're like, man, that was fucking awesome. Like, what a challenge that was for both of us.
See, I'm different.
That's what I want.
I come from my whole life playing sport.
You can have that with someone else, Colby.
So I want to beat them with my foot on the throat, smashing them. Like in footy, I want to win by 100 points. It's embarrassing for them. That's what I want. I want you to go to Ayrton and be like, bro, I beat you by 35 minutes. That's embarrassing. I love to embarrass the people. But that's just for sport. That's a different thing. Like obviously in real world, you got to be kind.
That's a terrible thing. Yeah. Do you want to be
if someone challenges me,
if I beat you, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to be like, bro, bro, that was a good race.
Yeah.
No, but when someone's like,
and we secretly beat him, he gets injured because he has that kind of mindset.
Let's beat Blake. Let's
not tell Blake that we're going to beat Blake. Yeah. Let's just beat
Good
Blake.
Luck, guys.
Let's flog Blake.
Good luck.
Should we just trip him?
Should we?
Bro, what if we at the very start?
Should we just?
I'd probably still win.
What if we equally come first against him?
Should we fill all his like water with laxatives?
Oh my god! See, that's dirty. I like to win fair.
No, you just said you're going to put your foot on someone's throat.
No, but that's
that's illegal. If you do that in the marathon, they'll disqualify.
No, that's an analogy. It's just like when you're beating someone, show no mercy. And then what you do at the end of the game,
which is an analogy of
the thing
you
is,
might trip yourself up.
The thing is, you're
accidentally planned by us.
No, the thing is, you try and win at all costs. In basketball, he calls terrible fouls, tries to win at all costs. I want to win
Don't get me started
fairly.
with you two at basketball.
Yeah, you know what he's like. Because he's too slow to chase me, so he calls fouls or he trips me on purpose and says it's legal. Because
street rules.
I'd rather lose fairly than win by cheating. Whereas he has the win at all cost mindset, which is I don't like that.
I mean, look, I do love to flog people but now and then. But I suppose I
like to shake your hand at the end of the day and say good game.
The less I know,
and just they know that they've lost, but like that's the best thing. Never rubbing it in. I hate rubbing it in.
Yeah.
But it's just like, when you know you've beaten someone, you don't need to rub it in. You shake the hand and say, good work.
Yeah. You don't like doing that, do you?
I don't. The only person I would do it with is you, because you do it to me. But you haven't really beaten me in anything, so rub it in my face. What is that?
But anyway, so
we get very competitive with sport.
Cool. So I'm competing against you
because he tries to trigger me in things. But I have the
try to.
Yeah, try to.
I actually want to play. I actually want to get a bit better at basketball and stuff while I'm traveling.
Oh man, yeah.
Like you guys are in a totally different sports arena than me. I never played like ball sports. I was always really
That's
shit.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's because I did MMA. It was the only sport that I ever related to, which also made me lose all the weight.
That's why I don't understand when you're like, oh, I want it to be a close, good race. But as me, when I watch a game of sport, I want it to be nice and close. I want you to be close. I want to see you two on the finish line going neck and neck because that's exciting for me. But if it was me in your position, I would be saying I want to beat him the maximum amount of time possible.
The main
we'll be at the finish.
The main thing is that if he's right up my ass, it will push me to a greater limit.
But if he sees you, it's going to push him to a greater limit as well.
Then it's going to push me to a greater limit too.
Push him to a greater limit.
That's the thing, is that when you are challenged, it drives you to excel. If you're flogging someone and your aim is to beat them, like even if you
I would just want to flog people.
But even if you are consciously, like you're not going to have the same amount of adrenaline.
I disagree, man.
You to the limit because adrenaline's
if he still sees you and you get that adrenaline push, you're still not going to win by as much as than if you just tried to flog him.
Yeah, but like
so at the end of the day, you're going to be making it closer for no reason.
You're not going to win.
No, I'm not going to slow.
Because if he can't see you, he's losing motivation because he's if he's behind you and he can't see you, that's such a motivation killer because he's like, wow,
I'm running my own race.
Because you can see about a kilometer ahead, probably like in real life. So if you can see someone so far away and they're getting smaller and smaller, that like makes you feel worse and you actually run slower. But if he's right, he's 200 meters away. Because I've done so many races, I've done like shorter races at footy and stuff. When they're so close, it push. But when they break out and you can see them getting smaller away, you actually lose motivation. I actually slow down a bit. So that's why I reckon you just need to do the hardest you can and not worry about the distance.
I'm not going to slow down for him. What I'm saying is...
Yeah, but I'm saying...
I want him to
no, because then if he can see you, then he's going to push harder and then that's actually going to be beneficial to him. But if he just sees you getting smaller and smaller because you're further and further away, he's going to crack. But when he can see you getting bigger and bigger and he's getting closer, then he's going to have the advantage, is what I'm saying. So at the
we're looking at this from two entirely different points of view. You're looking at it from the point of view of
winning as much as possible.
You don't want to give him any fuel. I'm looking at it as I want to
make it fun.
Do my best possible performance.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Because
you just said you want him to be close to you.
Let's just agree to disagree.
Well, yeah, because then I'll feel much more adrenaline because the
But so will he, is what I'm saying.
You know what?
When you're further away,
don't do what he tells you to do. You're going to have regret in life.
Who cares, man? Who cares?
I just don't want you to lose this bet. I'm trying to give you the advantage here.
So what you're telling me is you don't believe in me.
But it's interesting to see, like...
Bro, that's all the motivation I fucking need.
I love the underdogs, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the underdogs.
Yeah.
But I'm saying... Like, it's interesting to see...
You love the underdogs. You don't love Colby.
So when
he supports you, is actually secretly
Can I get a sentence out? What's really
Sorry,
interesting?
you've been speaking this whole time. I'm just trying to get in here.
What's really interesting is
we're talking about me,
bro. Shut up. What's really interesting is like I've come from a place of sport, but you haven't. It's interesting to see how. So I'm saying it's interesting to see how different mindsets, because both of them work, but it's interesting that I'm just like, oh, you should do it this way, and you're like, no, I'm going to do it this way.
It's also
that's what really interesting as well.
I've always. Because I've always done a lot of sports, like at school. I always played like soccer and all the other things, but I was always bad at them. So I've always been the underdog. But
have you won? Did you win much?
For MMA, yes. For ball sports, not really. Not unless they were contact sports. Then I'd win.
But did you get it past community level, or was it just that?
No, it was just community level.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing as well. You come from a background of being
semi-pro, yeah,
quite good at sports. You've probably been good at sports most of the time. We
go out every weekend, like when we play footy.
Yeah,
we're not like, all right, boys, we want to win by a point. We tell them we want to smash them, we want to embarrass these guys. That's just the way.
For me, it depends. Like if I was just
I'm racing someone,
if I was just looking at some random in the race and I said I want to beat that person, I would just try and flog them as much as possible. For me, it's different because it's Ayrton. That's why.
So you'd rather win by this much than
you're like, but it's a bad thing because he'll do better. That's exactly what I want. I want him to do better.
No, when it's competition, I
don't want him to win, but the thing is,
you shake hands, you say good luck, and then he's your enemy. Don't talk to him. That's just my mindset.
If he can't catch up, I'm not going to slow down for him. Like that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is because if he starts catching up, I'm going to run faster than I would run if he didn't. Because adrenaline's a stress response. If you're not stressed, you don't get the same amount of adrenaline. And adrenaline allows you to go beyond what.
Yeah, but you can create that yourself in your mind. That's what he's going to do. That's why he wants people to tell him he can't do it, because then in his head it's building up his own.
Yeah, but you can.
But you can build that up yourself without having him with a potential. You're giving him a sniff to win. Is basically it. That's just the way I see it.
You are going to win, Colby.
Anyway, so the topip for today.
Yeah, wow, that was a big ramble, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was, so who wants to introduce it?
We're talking about. I might as well. Dying. No, how to not die with memory regrets.
Ed, do you want to try that one again?
How to die with the how to.
All right, the topic for today is
how to die without regrets.
The topic today is
he hasn't spoken yet.
How to die without regrets.
Wait, how to die?
How to die. No, that's
how to die with no regrets. Not how to not die with not regrets.
So how do we do that? Tell me more, Colby.
Well, you have to win the bet.
First of all, firstly, you need to not regret losing the marathon. So you're going to win, right?
I'm going to win.
You are going to win.
I'm going to win. Well, the thing is,
let's move past this.
It's not the winning. So let's go away from the marathon and let's go to life in general, because I think when it comes to regret, one of the big confusions that people have is they think they regret not succeeding. So it is not failure that people actually come to regret in life. So if we raced as hard as we could and I lost, I would have no regrets, because it's not the losing that would make me feel regretful. If I lost something, if I failed and I went, but I tried as hard as I could and put all my effort in, how could I possibly have regrets? So I think one of the best ways in life and for everything, whether it's marathon or whether it's something creative or anything, to not have regrets is to just, like, it sounds, so cheesy because it's so said, but it's just do your best. Do your best, forget the rest. The saying, and it holds true, because deep down in your heart, you will know that there was nothing you could have done that you knew of to do better. And so you go, well, next time I'll still be able to do better. But at the time, I did everything I could, and I don't regret that.
And that doesn't just apply to on the day; it applies to the training leading up to it. Because sometimes on the day you'll fail, and you'll be like, "Oh man, I didn't train as hard as I could have." But like that's a different kind of regret, though, because it's not like you never tried at all. You still tried, but you probably didn't try your best, and then like you learn from that, really.
Similar like in business, it's like people not taking that risk to start their own business or investing in themselves, for example, in coaching, because they're scared. And it's like, I always look at it when I invest in a new coach or a new mentor or any program, like, well, what happens if I don't do that? Like, what's the actually thing that I'm going to lose if I don't take that? Do I want to look back in the next 6 months and be in the same freaking position, or do I want to move forward? And I think that's like a really interesting thing to talk about when it comes to like people having regret. Like sometimes people don't go and do the things they want to do because they're scared of like, oh, what could happen? but they actually create this massive regret in their life. It's like, well, I never actually took action on that thing. Because at the end of the day, like, we're all gonna fucking die.
We're all super.
Like, what do you got to lose?
Like
that, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the thing. As soon as you're born, there's a bounty on your head, and one day it's gonna cash in, and it could be
5,000 weeks.
Could be 5,000 weeks. Could be 2,000 weeks. You never know. Like we could end this podcast. I could go for a drive and then die. Then get hit by a car.
Touch wood. That's not going to happen.
Statistically, we live close enough to the airport that a major malfunction could cause a plane to crash in this airport and kill us all.
Thanks, man.
Jeez, it's a little bit.
And we catch it all. We catch it all on camera.
Yeah, man, we'd be TikTok famous.
Either way, we are living
dead but famous.
We're taking action on our passion, which is for this podcast, is sharing our purposes, being able to speak about topics we're passionate about. Which is an example of, like, I think for especially for me, is like leading, for example, in life through my content, through the things that I talk about. It's like I don't want to live with regret. So everything I do, I like to inspire other people. That's why I do this podcast. Would you guys agree that's like one of the reasons why you do this?
I agree, yeah, because obviously I'm sort of the travel guy of the podcast, and the one thing I want to do, especially, you know, as I move on and I expand to trying to have some of my own media forms with travel, is I want to inspire people to enrich their life by seeing the world, and I think that's why we're all here. Because, you know, what do you think? Like,
yeah, I think because like my way of doing it is like I like to do challenges, like to challenge myself. But I think the biggest thing with regret is unanswered questions. That's basically what regret is to me. Because it's like, I remember this one time back when I was single, I saw this girl at a club and I really wanted to go talk to her. And literally for like, I think you were there as well. And for like 2 hours, I was like, I was so nervous like to like approach her. And then when I was ready, I couldn't find her anywhere. And my heart literally sank. I was like, oh, you're such, like, you could have just gone and talked to her. And like all this kept running through my head, like, don't know the answer. Like that I just felt regret. Like I know it's something small like that. And then I told myself, I was like, all right, next time that happens, I'm just going to go straight for it. And then 30 minutes later, I saw her and I was like, damn it. So then I went up and approached her, chatted to her. And she had a boyfriend, but on the way car ride home, I was so happy. I was like, who cares? She has a boyfriend. I did something. I stepped out of my comfort zone. Because that's really scary, going up and approaching a girl, you know? But like, it's just, that applies to other things in life. Everything that makes because I felt so much discomfort and it just felt really uncomfortable. So the things that make us feel uncomfortable are the things that we should be doing. Because, and even if you fail, like if you, like with this marathon, if you don't try, you're going to have regret.
Oh yeah.
But if you have the answered question, like, hey, I tried my best. I'm not good enough. I wasn't good enough to beat Ayrton. I'm not good enough to make AFL. I'm not good enough for this.
Did you guys hear that?
But I tried.
Come back to this.
You're going to edit that snippet out and just have him saying, I'm not good enough to beat Ayrton. I'm not good enough to beat Ayrton.
I was speaking from Colby's perspective.
Exactly.
But you get my point though. Regret is having questions unanswered. It's like, it's a what if, like, because like, you know, everyone knows this. Like when old people, they don't regret the things they did in life. They regret the things they didn't do. While now they still have the time. And when you get old, you lose that time. And I want to show my favorite quote, which is actually now my screensaver, which is, we all must suffer one of two pains. And it's the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons. So you can do the hard things now so your life will be easy and enjoyable. Or you can do the easy things now so your life will be hard and sucky. That's basically what it's about. Just doing the things that bring you discomfort and that are hard now, but you know long-term are going to bring you the rewards and the true feelings and the things that you want.
It's a great quote. It's an awesome statement.
It's a screensaver now.
I think failure is deeply undervalued. Like failure is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We learn through success, but we learn so much more through failure because most of the time, although, you know, there's plenty of exceptions, and when you get really good and really disciplined, you will ask the right questions. A lot of people, when they succeed, they don't go, okay, well, what were all the things specifically that, you know, that succeeded, what was really good, and they really break it down. Obviously, people who are really disciplined do that, but a lot of people don't. They go, oh, awesome, like it really worked out. Where most people, when they fail at something, You know, most people who have that bit of self-awareness, they'll go, okay, well, where did it fail? Why did it fail? Failure is our ultimate teacher. So if you don't fail, you don't learn anything. So if you don't try, not only will you not succeed, but you'll also learn nothing about how to succeed. So, you know, like not trying, there's no positives to it. There's no positives. And ultimately, there's no negatives to failure. Like,
only lessons, bro.
Yeah.
And it's the same for in business. Like, some of my clients are scared of putting a video out or scared of putting an offer out. Like, what if no one likes my posts, or what if no one comments on it? And what if like someone says something negative on my ads, for example? Well, the thing is, you learn from those things, those experiences. You learn from like, well, maybe it wasn't the right offer, maybe it wasn't the right thing. But the only way you're going to learn that is by doing that, right? And this is in the business context. Is like the only way you're going to learn if your business is going to be successful is by taking action and doing shit. The only way you're going to learn if that video is going to, or this podcast is going to work, is by us doing it, right? And like, it's like, you know, taking action and being okay with, you're going to suck at some things. Things are going to not work out.
Oh yeah, we suck so bad.
Yeah. Just like you're training for the marathon. Like I don't know how you train for it, but anyway, my training sucks, bro. You're going to win. But like the example is like, most people are scared of like, you know, they're trying to have things perfect. They're trying to have all the ducks lined up, which I just don't believe is a really good way to look at it. I think it's like, I look at everything in life. It's like, how can I fuck up more and learn shit faster? And a powerful video I saw in 2016 from one of my very first mentors. Literally, I just came across it yesterday. I was explaining to someone. Is they're actually around reading books, right? And a lot of people read books because they want to learn new stuff, right? But what this mentor of mine has shared in a video is like, you want to build your army of lessons. So like reading books, for example, in a certain topic, is you're learning the mistakes that other people make because they share them in their books. So you can learn faster to not make those mistakes. So you can then grow faster, so you can take action on things, which is the same as like, you know, people, you know, me trying to do a marathon. I'm learning as I go. But if I never took that step or actions to learn what type of food to eat, the nutrition, you know, what I should be doing sleep-wise, like I'm not gonna learn that stuff. So I might fail for the first marathon, the half marathon that I do.
Yeah.
But I'll learn a skill. I'll learn something. But if I never did that, I'm not going to learn the lessons. You know,
you'll learn that Colby's better than you.
Yeah, and like
I mean, Colby is going to win, guys. Honestly, put it right now, Colby, you are going to win.
And I think the best way to work on that business thing you sort of talked about is sometimes I find the best way to explain something to someone is to really like is to exaggerate it slightly to almost a point where it kind of breaks apart. So like you talked about, they're afraid of putting up ads and stuff like that. So I think the best way for people to think about it is, you know, imagine you are a business. Like whatever task you're doing, imagine that it's a business and you need to put up some ads and they need to succeed for you to succeed. And you go, okay, well, you're worried, oh, what if my ad doesn't succeed? You know, what if I don't get people to get the thing that's on the ad? Like, all right, wicked. Well, here's your solution. Just put no ads up and they'll surely rock up.
Yeah. So what's the other alternative?
Maybe not.
Put it out or not put it out.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, okay, well, no, let's just put out no ads, and I'm sure they'll just come. It's like, no, they won't. You'll get nothing if you don't try.
And it's like fear is like one of the biggest killer of people's dreams.
Fear is the mind killer.
Like it's what stops a lot of people from taking action. This is why we're talking about regret. Like that's the fear of like, oh, what's going to go wrong? Like, what if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't? Like, but who cares? At the end of the day, like, you're going to fucking die. Take action on the shit that you really want to do. Like, embrace the unknown. Just, like, seek being uncomfortable doing things and learn and do it. Like, that's what life's about. It's like being in the moment. People it's like the example from The Power of Now, the book, is, you know, people, they look in the past, it's where pain and trauma comes from, right? You know, people get depression, they feel like, oh, because they're thinking about too much past. And same with like in the future, people are like, oh, they get anxiety because like, oh, what could go wrong? This could happen. But the thing is, neither of those exist. The past is in the past. The future is in the future. You're only ever in the now. And when you're in the now, that's when you truly can enjoy life and be happy. And you can do things. Because like, you know, the only way you're going to learn or become, you know, more happy or be able to do things or learn if something works is by doing it now. That's the only way you learn. Like, trying to predict the future and overthink it in your own head is fucking you up. Like a lot of people overthink shit because like oh, what's going to go wrong, you know? But like at the end of the day, like you only have out of the now. So if you died tomorrow, what does it matter?
Yeah, the past is
same with the past. Like looking in the past, why would you want to hold on to that pain of something going wrong or that business failure from another? Like, it's an example. Like I chat to clients all the time, especially in the Facebook marketing area. Some people have like they've done ads and haven't worked. So like oh, our ads don't work. I run profitable ads. I teach in my programs, and other mentors and business owners run it. And the reason why ads, and this is just using for marketing and business purposes, example. The reason ads work is because people kept testing and trying things. That's like for marketing, even with the most successful copywriters from the 60s, from the 50s, say the exact same thing. The only way you'll know if a marketing campaign will work, for example, is by testing it, by putting it out there. Like your first 60 are going to flop. Same when it comes to like video. Same with this podcast. Our first 10 might not get views or they might not get massive views. That doesn't matter though, because we are still stepping in and not having that regret because we're taking action on what we want to do. And we're doing it now because we're in the now.
Oh yeah, like the amount of times. So in a life well lived, you will have far more failures than successes. Because if you try every opportunity, the truth is you will fail at far more than you will succeed. The trick is understanding that this is a good thing. This is an amazing thing, and it's a chance to really grow.
Yeah, and one thing I really want to share is something that you touched on was like it doesn't matter and that we're going to die. I want to share. I don't know if I've shared this story with maybe with you, but I'm not sure if I shared it with you. A couple of years ago, like I started becoming an atheist and believing in nothing.
Oh.
Because actually, maybe I haven't told you this story.
You haven't told me this.
Yeah. So at one point, I was an atheist, and I literally believed in nothing. And I was like, "There's nothing. You die. That's it." And I went down the path of nothing matters. Like it doesn't matter.
Nihilism. Yeah.
But I was on the opposite end of like, what's the point of doing things? Like we're all just going to die someday. I was on the negative side. Because I just didn't believe in anything. When you don't really believe in anything, yeah, you can still live a great life. But I was on the bad side of like, I'm just going to die one day. Like, what's the point of, like, just, what is the point of anything really? Like, if it's just all going to just come to an end someday, and then that's it. And for a while, I was never depressed. I've never ever been depressed. But I was really in this down period of like low energy, didn't want to do much, didn't explore much, just sort of going through the motions of my life. I was in that for a couple of months. I was going through that mindset, and I was like, and then I just clicked one point. I was like, this is just no way to live. So then I started watching videos and learning a bit more. That's when I started getting into spirituality. And then back then I had a bit of a switch of like, wait, nothing matters, which means I can do whatever I want. And I sort of flipped the script of like being negative to it being positive as like, wait, I'm here no matter what. Like, I may as well make the most of it. And I could spend the next 80 years just feeling shit, feeling bad for myself, feeling sorry for myself. Or I can go out and I can experience life. And that's when I started getting into spirituality. Because I'm quite a spiritual person now. And I started realizing that, like, we're all so caught up in our own shit that no one's thinking about you. No one cares.
No one gives a fuck.
Like, when I have a conversation with someone, I walk off, like, I think about like, oh, like what I said to them, and they're probably thinking about the same thing of like, oh, maybe it didn't come off right, blah, blah. But like, no one cares. Like, if you just went out and joined a circus, like they might have one thought of like, oh, that's a bit strange. Then they continue their lives. It doesn't affect you. And so when it finally clicked for me, it clicked back then as like knowing, but now I truly understand like nothing matters. So you may as well cause ripples in the world. Obviously not to the point where it negatively affects other people and like hurts other people, but to the point where it's like, I can do whatever I want because people are so self-involved, like no one's going to care. And I can, and that is so freeing to just know, and that you literally control your destiny and that you're in charge. And I think that was just a huge transitional period that I went through because, it's not fully, I just wasn't healthy being an atheist, or at least for me personally. Like, I'm sure people live great lives as it, but for me, it didn't work. And I was like, there has to be something else. So that's when I went into more spirituality.
Yeah, like no matter what people believe in, because there's so many different beliefs in the world, and they all have their own merit, they all have their own worth. None of that ever means that you shouldn't live your life to the absolute fullest. Because on the subject of, obviously I picked up a lot more spirituality when we all became friends. Obviously you guys would know, because when you first talked to me about it, I was like it's all hocus pocus. And then it was like a couple of days in, I was like, when we just had the oracle decks and stuff, I was like, actually, no, you know what? I do genuinely want a card from this. Like,
okay.
And then
and I was like,
that's what it was like.
The first couple of days, with me?
The first couple of days, I was like, oh, this is just trash. Then I was like, actually, you know what? Really present in the moment. I'm sort of looking at it. I feel like, and then ever since then, I'm taking one to New Zealand with me for sure. Draw from it every day. Go through.
It's really interesting, like to touch on spirituality a little bit. When you become more connected with yourself, and start loving yourself, and start, looking at what you want in life and doing the things you want now, you start to actually become more free, and you start to become less stressed. You have less anxiety.
100%.
You feel more at peace. Like even I went to a mastermind 3 months ago, and the previous mastermind I went to, because like obviously I'm in business, and usually business owners always hustling. And the last couple of masterminds I went to, I was always hustling and like working on the next thing, and I was stressed out and all that kind of stuff. And then this last mastermind I was super chill, and one of the people I saw would always see at the other masterminds came up to me, was like, bro, what happened to you? He's like, you're so chill. Like you found your zen. I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm chill. I'm just really enjoying life. And this is where the last 7 months, I've really stepped into more self-love and taking time out to do the things I want now. And like going with the mindset, it's like, well, I'm going to go for a hike today, or I'm going to go and take myself out for lunch, and doing the things I want to do now. Because I'm like, why am I waiting for something? Because like a big realization I had, was 8 months ago, was in my business, I was always working for the future. I was always working for the future. It's like, when I'm at this point, then I can do this, then I can buy this house, and then I'll be happy. And I was always working towards that, which gets you so far that you hit a wall and you're like, fuck, what am I actually working for? Like I'm not actually enjoying I wasn't actually enjoying what I was doing. To the point I wasn't enjoying it. And that's when I realized it's like, well, most people go through life. Yeah, like they set goals and stuff like that. I'm not saying you don't set goals. Most people go through life working towards something and putting something on a pedestal. It might be a house, might be career, and they're always working to the end goal, but they're never actually sitting and being present with the now. That's why we call this a 5,000 week journey. It's the journey that we need to embrace and be more present with, and start doing the things we want during that journey. Because like you're going to get to the end point and like, fuck, well, that was actually unsatisfying, or it was like satisfying for like a couple of minutes. And that's for me. I realized that in my business, I was working towards 6 figures, 7 figures, and there's still goals in mind, but I'm detached from like needing those things. It's like I enjoy doing the things to getting there. I love the failures that I get to do to get there. The lessons I get to learn, like I embrace the next day. It's like there's ups and downs in the business. I'm looking forward to the next down in the business. I'm like, when's, because that point I learned so much. Some people are scared of that shit. They're scared of like, oh, what if money stops coming in, or instead of the job, what if I lose my job? Like they're scary things that happen, but they're I believe the most enjoyable things to come out of it. Because there's a quote around like, when shit stuff happens, that's where you actually realize your true potential and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like if you can accept it and realize, oh well, I've had business failures, I've had clients leave, I've had multiple things happen in my business and personal life and stuff like that some people would pull out and quit, but like I've been able to sit with them and be like, well, shit, this is just meant to happen. Like this is a part of the process. But if I had, if I didn't take action on those things, I'd have regret. If I gave up on my business because it got too hard, or the job that I was working at the time, if I gave up on trying to pursue to start my business, this is 5 years ago, I wouldn't be here today, and I would have regret.
Yeah, and that's basically the ultimate truth of it. Is it's just like we say many times, you can be ambitious and content. You have to be happy with, like, you have to give yourself what you want in the present moment while working forward. Because if you're happy and you're fulfilled in the present moment, you will be better. And so you will get towards your ultimate goal. And failure is great. It's like they say, suffering builds character. Well, failure builds perspective. And it helps you develop, it helps you grow. So yeah, that's a really, really powerful message. Like as you're saying, people are always so worried about jumping forward. But the truth is, the best result you could ever get is it's not the success or the failure. That's not the result that matters. The result is that you tried, that you just threw yourself in, feet, head first, whatever. You leapt in, and you got a result. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, dive into the deep end. I've been listening to a lot of you guys know David Goggins.
Yeah.
Listening to his book for the second time in a row. Can't Hurt Me is what it's called. Absolute amazing book. But he said something really interesting is that as humans, we always tend to take the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is generally the wrong path. And we know it's like a cheapskate. And there's a difference between like efficiency and like a business of like, obviously you want to have it as smooth as possible. But there's a difference between that and the path of like, just of your life. Like, you could take shortcuts in your business and it would be wrong. Or like as training for a marathon or whatever, you can take all these shortcuts and like it might change the result a little bit, but it's not right. So generally the path that is harder is always the right path. And you truly know that. And a lot of people just take the easy path and they just ignore the feelings and then they get to the end of their life and like, wow, I just did nothing with my life. And then that's what regret comes from. It just comes from doing things that you never did the things you wanted to do. You always did the things that other ones do. If you don't plan your life, other people plan it for you.
I've seen this so often in my personal life and in business as well, where people don't take action on doing things they want to do, and you can see that they just sweep it under the rug. And it's like something like, it sucks to see when people just give up on their dreams. That fucking sucks. When I say that, we can only inspire people as much as possibly can, but it does happen. A lot of people, they do avoid going down the road. They want to go the easy road. Like someone comes to me, they want to scale their business to 6 figures. They want it tomorrow, but it's like I say to them straight up, it's going to be freaking hard. Like you don't want it easy, because if it was easy, then it wouldn't be worth it. And that's the same thing for anything in life. If it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. You want it to be hard because that's what gives you the fulfillment of reaching that goal or reaching that success, is that journey of it being hard. That's what makes you have that fulfillment.
Otherwise, it's just a hollow achievement. You sort of get there and you're like, is that it? Because there was no journey. It just came. It just
and we love the journey.
Arrived, and it's like you said, the path for least resistance. Like I know I'm doing the right thing in a lot of ways with my business right now, because as you'd know from the retreat, the path I've taken with it is a path of extreme resistance. Like and the resistance came from me. I was like, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that, and like, cool, temporarily, making much less money, but it's about the bigger picture, because at the end I'll be happier, I'll be freer, and the company will grow bigger because I've been willing to let go and to take that risk. It could be a bad thing, but I don't think it is. And I believe that taking
either way, you'll learn a lesson, bro.
Oh yeah, I'll learn a lesson. Either way, it'll be a terrible decision. I'll make a better one. But I believe it's a great decision because I had to force myself to just do it.
And there's a real there's a trap coming into that. And what I mean by that is I've been reading the book Atomic Habits, one of my favorite books. And this lesson hit hard for me because this is what I've been doing as well. I forgot the exact wording he used. Like he said, there was these 2 words. But basically he talked about a lot of people love, and this is what I've been caught in as well, love planning out. For example, for me, I was been planning out my content and actually like spent a lot of time planning for the thing I'm going to do, but not actually doing the thing I'm going to do.
Yes.
So I forgot the exact wording, but it was like, it's like a dog's bark compared to their bite. Like you're barking and by planning all this like content, like, I'm going to have a spreadsheet, I'm going to do all this content, blah, blah, blah. It's what I've been doing the last 2 weeks. And I haven't filmed anything because I was doing all this. And then I was literally reading the book and it said that and goes, it makes you feel good, but you actually haven't done anything. It's false accomplishment because it makes you feel like writing a schedule for the marathon. Oh man, I've written a schedule. I'm going to do all these runs. Yeah, great.
I did feel
Some people never do the schedule. Some people never actually do the thing.
False praise, yeah.
So a month later, I haven't really done much content, which really upset me. And I read that book. I read the page 2 days ago, and I'm like, I just need to pick one and just do it, because now I'm like 2 weeks behind. I haven't done anything. I can plan all the content I want, but if I'm not posting anything, then
exactly
you're not doing anything. Yeah, and that applies to anything in life.
Yeah.
It's false. Yeah, like false achievement.
Yeah,
really.
false praise.
Makes you feel good. Like, oh, I'm told my friends, I'm going to do this, going to do that. let's watch TV now.
I think
I'm actually running.
I'm kind of the opposite. I need to plan a little more because I just go do.
No, it says you still need to plan, but look at the time you're allocating to it. If you're spending more time planning it than doing it,
then it's just...
You need a plan. But it's me, I've had all these kind of ideas. I'm trying to organize it, make it all nice and pretty and neat. It's wasting time. It's like in a business. People waste time on their website, logo, all this stuff.
Yeah,
and they waste 2 months.
This could be
you're going to go on about this when you tell me about it all the time.
But the whole point with like regret is false. That false achievement gets you nowhere, and you're in the same spot.
Yeah, it's really. Just like we can talk a little bit of goal setting where people set New Year's resolutions and goals. They love setting. Everyone talks about this is going to happen. This year's going to be my year.
High fives.
Yeah. It's like it's not going to happen unless you take freaking action and step in it. It's going to be hard. That's why most people fucking fail at their New Year's resolutions.
But it shouldn't require a new year for you to set some goals.
You can start today. If you're watching this podcast and you're like, fuck it, I want to be a new person. Starts today, but you need to take those steps. So a lot of people like it is like just sharing. Like I have the same problem when it comes to content as well, and I know a strategy for me is like it's like you want to plan out the whole thing because it makes you feel good. People buy my course and they go through, they plan out the content, and they feel good. And I was listening on a coaching call which Colby was on last night, and everyone's like talking about the stuff they're doing, and I'm like, so when are you putting an offer out? When are you actually going to post this? And they're like, oh, I was going to do this in a couple of weeks' time. Like, well, hang on.
Next year.
You got to do it now. And this is like why people invest. That's why I invest in coaching, is to have someone hold you accountable. So this is like if you are, in this moment, you got some goals or stuff you want to do, like you with your content, reach out to someone to say, hey, can you just keep me accountable? Can you do this? And like an example, like with this half marathon that we're running, I want to challenge Colby to a challenge to keep me accountable to, I may or may not be training for. I'm not telling you guys my training schedule, but to keep me accountable to do it. Doesn't matter if I win or I lose.
I can see it right now, bro. That's the training schedule.
It doesn't matter if I win or lose. For me, it's like getting it done, right? If that makes sense. So it's the action of doing it. But if I didn't set myself a challenge for it, then because I know that's what's going to keep me accountable to do it. And that's why I won't beat Colby. It's because I've set the challenge to beat him. It's kind of like a mindset thing. So this is like for anyone who's struggling to take action and take that so they can avoid the regret, to take action on things they want to do, is like find someone to keep you accountable. Put it out to the world what you want to do and say, hey, look, I'm going to do this by this date. If you fail, it doesn't matter. You still took action on it. As long as you take action on it, move the steps forward, you'll get closer to where you want to be.
And set a challenge. It's like It's like what's it? High Performance Habits is the book I'm almost finished at the moment. But one of the things he says is like just say what you want to do to yourself. Think about how you want to do it and when do you want to do it by. Because a goal without a deadline is just a dream. Like you need to challenge yourself. But when you challenge yourself, you need to be clear, not like I want to lose some weight. I want to put on some muscle. All right, well, how much weight do you want to lose? When do you want to lose it by? And, make it realistic, but also challenging. You don't want to make it realistic and easy. Like, I want to lose 2 kilos by next year. Cool. Very realistic. Ridiculously easy. You go, I want to lose 5 kilos, this month, or, 20 kilos over the next 3 months, or, whatever, or something like that. If it's for fitness, or I want to get a client, or I want to make some new friends, or, you can do it with anything. There's nothing in this world you can't set challenges for and throw yourself in the deep end for, whether it's, woodwork or, anything. Like even the most weird, obscure thing that you thought of at school or that you've seen someone do, there's challenges to be had and there's things to be learned.
So that actually reminds me of a quote. I don't know if it was by Elon Musk, but I had a picture of him with the quote up. And it basically said, if you schedule 8 hours to clean your home, it's going to take you 8 hours. If you schedule it for 2 hours to clean your home, it's going to take you 2 hours. So that's the same thing. If you make a ridiculous goal easy and you set yourself 6 months for it, then it's going to take you 6 months to achieve it. But if you squish it and you put yourself 2 months, it's going to take you 2 months to achieve it. So like just because if it's too easy, you need to A, raise the goal, B, shorten the time, which is basically what makes it.
I used to do that with spring cleaning. I'd go, I've got all day to clean the house. It'd take me all day. Now I just go, look, I'm just going to clean the house in an hour and it's done in an hour.
There's an app I actually use to do this. It's called Focus. It does like 25-minute focus stints, which in that 25 minutes you choose one task. As I was setting this podcast set up today, I do it. So I got the podcast set up in like Took me like half an hour to set all this up because I was cleaning the house at the same time. But I did it in like 25-minute stints. Otherwise, it would take me a little bit longer.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So much helpful stuff. So, I suppose to summarize, well, what are some things that people can do to make sure that they reduce their number of regrets? I know we've talked about it a lot, but
embrace the unknown.
Yeah, embrace the unknown. Set yourself some clear goals, things you might be afraid of doing. And when you get that next situation where you go, oh, I'm not sure, like, what if they laugh at me, or like, what if I fail, or, whatever this, who cares? To be blunt, who gives a shit? No one.
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? No one is going to care the way that you care. And you're going to care a hell of a lot if you don't do it. So, just do it.
Yeah.
Like Shia LaBeouf says, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, I just
don't
think
let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah, I just think like you just got to have self-reflection and be like, do I enjoy my life at the moment? And if you don't, then something's missing. So then you actually got to find the things that you want to do and then just do the things you want to do. Schedule time for it. Just
do it.
Exactly. That's just, it sounds a lot, it's a lot easier to say than it is to do. But if you don't have time, if you're busy, there's always time. You can block out something in your calendar for an hour and say, this is my music time, this is my walking time, fitness time, or reading, whatever you want, whatever it is you want to do.
Just watch 10 hours less of Netflix each week.
Yeah, exactly. People say I'm busy when we see your screen time.
I actually know a guy. I don't really hang out with him anymore, but he'd always go, I'm too busy to get into this. I'd be like, bro, you watch 3 hours of Netflix every single day. You have time. But anyway, so as to not get too distracted, the ultimate message of today is just do it.
Embrace the unknown, take action, do the things you want to do in your life.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that just about wraps it up. That's the best way to die with no regrets, I would say.
Just do it.
But you know where to find us, at the 5,000 Week Journey on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Just do it.